The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker and I have with me my son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello there.
How are you?
For some reason.
Huh?
Hot for some reason.
Hot?
Hmm.
It's been warmish. I'm warmish. Lots of things ish. Ishish.
Ishish.
Ishish. Not hashish, ishish. So anyway, yes. This week we are reviewing 2 short films and a long film, as is our want most of the time, and stuff and things. Right, so let's start off, as we mean to go on, by reviewing a film. The first film is a short science fiction film called One Small Step. This is on Dust, which means that the date isn't necessarily the date the film came out, but it says it's 2022, so we'll see. That may or may not be correct. It was written and directed by Zachary Purcell. Cinematography is David Wells. Makeup and special effects by Brooke O. Wilson. The cast was John Barajas, Michelle Smith, Dawn Dillard, and Delee Dillard. The synopsis says, a father struggles to right a wrong committed several years before. If he fails, his family dies. Now, I know this is time travel as such.
Yeah.
Which I know is something you don't like, but it's a different style of time travel.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
I'm going to sound like a massive hypocrite now. I actually quite like this one.
Yeah.
It's a very odd film, I would say, but I like the sort of premise behind it. I liked everything about it, really. I don't know, it kept me hooked the whole time. I didn't think once about the fact that, it was a time travel film or anything like that. It didn't bug me at all.
Yeah.
It didn't come up at all in my mind.
No. I mean, I think it's a very well made film, well acted. As we would say, good look. The effects, I think, the people when they were just stood completely still,
Yeah,
was incredible. I don't know how they did that. Whether it's just, whether it's a CGI thing, or if it's a green screen thing, or if it's just people who are really good at being living statues.
Yeah.
Don't know. But it was really great. The thing about it that got me was, we've said it before about the fact that we watched some of these short films and they look like either the beginning or the end of another thing. I want to know more about the story. I want to know more about the backstory to it, and then what happened afterwards as well.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a middle bit of a story.
Yeah.
Which is really quite frustrating in a way, because you're kind of like, well, why are they doing this? Why is this happening? And then what happens afterwards when he goes? And
it's with the way it started, it sort of drew me in, and then when he obviously then jumps to sort of a bit later on, and I sat there like, I did the same thing. I thought, so what happened in between? What's going on? And then like you said, when at the end of it, I sat there like, so what happened? And it was very weird, because obviously sat there afterwards and I'm like, that's a time travel film, and I enjoyed it, and I didn't want to pick fault in it. I didn't want to pick holes in it. And I was like, it's very bizarre for me to feel that way with that film.
Yeah, I think it's because the thing about it is it concentrates on why they are where they are and why it is that why they're yeah, and what it is they're doing. And so you don't get caught up in the kind of the the problems that it might bring up.
Yeah, it was very sort of. There wasn't a lot of science behind it. But it was more sort of story based, ritual of what was going on and what they were saying, and
Yeah,
it made me feel sort of sitting there like, so why the sort of why were they happy doing this deal? What was going on? And it sort of hooked me with it.
yeah, I was really hooked as well. I'd really kind of, as I say, I want to know more. I want to know what happened before and after and all that kind of thing. It's a really good film. It works so well.
Mm.
It's really good. Okay, so that was a good one. Yes, definitely. The second film is a short horror film called Mallet Street. This is one from Burnt Mill Road Films, 2021. We've done a few of theirs before. I always quite like the look of their stuff. Director Jacob Arbiter, writer Ken Rudnick, and the director of photography was Stephen Ho. The cast is Marley Uribe, Christopher Klein, Frankie Kevich, and Jacob Arbiter. This synopsis says a young girl finds herself prey to a creature who's trapped her in his time loop.
Mm.
Now, this is an odd one because it's a very well-worn, well-used idea,
Yes.
but it's a very odd version, and it makes it the oddness of it makes it seem like fresh and interesting and sort of like something different.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very used idea to what's going on, but it's very unique way of doing it. Like a lot of the stuff that they do, um, and just the whole way through it, concentrating on what was going on with her, but then I was also concentrating on what was going on in the background because there was a lot of it was changing and certain things were moving.
Yeah,
I liked that about it is the fact that it wasn't just what was on the camera, there was stuff behind things and going on, and the different when it goes back and sort of goes back the different reactions that she has, but also the friends have and how she feels. I feel
the
very
other
well.
thing that got me about it was when it jumped back to before the film started. So it jumped back to the introduction part of the film.
Yeah,
So when it got to the end, I wasn't quite sure if it was finished or not.
yeah, I did the same thing. I sat there like, is it? And then he come up with the credits. I was like,
Yeah,
I genuinely actually felt disappointed. Like, sort of come up with the credits. I was like, oh, I wanted to know more. I wanted to sort of know what happens.
yeah. Oh, it's a bit weird, but it's weird in a really good way.
Yeah, I will say as well with a lot of their films that I've seen and we've watched, their masks or their makeup or whatever they
Yeah.
do for them are so unique
Oh,
and so peculiar.
I love that look. They've got that character, this creature look
Yeah,
really well. It's really good. I also like the fact that it's done at night in a dark street. There's lots of like lights and stuff from stuff around the street, but it's really clear picture.
yeah,
It's really well made. It's a good cinematography. Um, I really like that film. I think it's a really great film. I Burnt Mill Road has started to become another one where we haven't. I don't think we've seen anything from them that's been bad.
no, it's very bizarre. With like, it's sort of there's this small group of ones that we've done a few reviews on that
Yeah.
I'm almost sort of hoping that they there is a film that they do and we can sit there and go, actually, that doesn't measure up to what their other bits are. But so far they haven't, and it's
No, it's true. Really good. Really good. Really like it. Okay, so on to our long film. This is a 2019 horror film called Gothic Harvest. Now, it's also known as Vampires of New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I think it may even have a third title. I don't know. There you go. The director for this was Ashley Hamilton, and this is his first and I think only direction. It's the
I
only
think
one
so at the
he's
moment.
made.
Yeah.
The writer is Chris Cobin, who also wrote or had to do with the writings of 2001 Maniacs in 2005, Hood of Horror in 2006, Driftwood in 2006, and 2001 Maniacs Field of Screams in 2010. The cast. So let's go first of all. Bill Moseley, who did TV shorts and video games things in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. He was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in 1986, Osa in 1986, The Blob in 1988, Fair Game 1988, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out 1989, The First Power 1990, Crash and Burn 1990, Night of the Living Dead in 1990, Army of Darkness 1992, Evil Ed 1995, All American Massacre 2000, The Convent 2000, Essence of Echoes 2002, House of a Thousand Corpses 2003, Vicious 2003, The Devil's Rejects 2005, Evil Bong in 2006, Fallen Angels 2006, 3 2006, A Dead Calling in 2006, Grindhouse 2007, Home 6 2007, Halloween 2007, Babysitter Wanted 2008, Repo the Genetic Opera in 2008, Alone in the Dark 2 in 2008, House 2008, The Devil's Tomb 2009, The Haunted World of El Super Beasto in 2009, Blood Night, The Legend of Mary Hatchet 2009, Dead Air 2009, The Graves 2009, 2001 Maniacs Field of Screams in 2010, God Killer, Walk Amongst Us 2010, The Tortured in 2010, Exit Humanity 2011, Rogue River 2012, El Dorado 2012, The Devil's Carnival 2012, The Inflicted 2012, and Dead Souls 2012. Texas Chainsaw in 2013, The House of the Witch Doctor 2013, Disciples 2014, Charlie's Farm 2014, Old 37, which is also known as Ambulance 37 in 2015, Almost Mercy in 2015, Night of the Living Dead Darkest Dawn in 2015, Smothered 2016, Alleluia the Devil's Carnival 2016, The Hold 2016, The Possession Experiment in 2016, Death House 2017, Boar 2017, Dark Roads 79 2017, Minutes to Midnight 2018, Cynthia 2018, The Church 2018, Crepitus in 2018, American Exorcist 2018, Devil's Junction Handy Dandy's Revenge 2019, Shed of the Dead 2019, Exorcism at 60,000 Feet 2019, To Your Last Death 2019, Big Top Evil 2019, Free from Hell in 2019, I Am Fear 2020, Prisoners of the Ghostland 2021, Sin Eater 2022, Dead by Midnight, Y2 Kill 2022, Hayride to Hell 2022, Red Night at Skies 2022, and he has various other projects in the pipeline at the moment. Done a few bits.
Yeah, just a bit.
The next one is Lynn Shay, who did TV stuff in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. She was in Alone in the Dark, 1982, Jekyll and Hyde Together Again, 1982, The Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, Critters, 1986, Stillwatch, 1987, My Demon Lover in 1987, The Hidden, 1987, The Running Man, 1987, Critters 2, The Main Course, 1988, Amityville: A New Generation in 1993, Wes Craven's New Nightmare 1994, The Nature of the Beast 1995, Contagion 2002, Dead End 2003, 2001 Maniacs in 2005, Hoboken Hollow 2006, Hood of Horror 2006, Driftwood 2006, Killer Pad 2008, Asylum 2008, Dark Moon Rising 2009, 2001 Maniacs Field of Screams 2010, Insidious 2010, Next Stop Murder 2010, Chillerama 2011, Rosewood Lane 2011, Big Ass Spider in 2013, Insidious Chapter 2 2013, The Signal 2014, Lost Time 2014, Grace the Possession 2014, Ouija 2014, Insidious Chapter 3 2015, Tales of Halloween 2015, Helen Keller versus Night Wolves in 2015, Jack Goes Home 2016, Abattoir 2016, The Midnight Man 2016, Ouija Origin of Evil 2016, The Black Room 2017, Insidious The Last Key 2018, The Final Wish 2018, Bayou Tales 2019, Room for Rent 2019, Get Gone 2019, Ambition 2019, The Grudge 2020, The Voices 2020, Dreamcatcher 2020, Max Reload and the Nether Blasters 2020, The Call 2020, Carrion 2023, and Insidious 5 2023, which isn't out yet.
No.
She's done a few bits too. There, we got a few other people. Sophia Matson did some TV in the 2010s. Other than that, she was in Jurassic City in 2015 and Adrenochrome in 2017. Ashton Lee, who did TV and shorts in 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, and was in American Horror House in 2012, Ghost Experiment in 2014, Frankenstein versus the Mummy in 2015, Demonic 2015, Re-Kill 2015, Skookum, The Hunt for Bigfoot in 2016, Convergence in 2017, Camera Obscura 2017, Jake's Road 2017, Hunting on Fraternity Row 2018, Devil's Doors 2018, Don't Look Back 2020, Incantation 2022, and she's also in Tamber's Land and Quail Hollow, which are both still in production. We have Mary Alice Reisner, who did some TVs and shorts in the 2010s. We've got Proof of the Devil 2 in 2015, Night of the Wild 2015, The Domestics 2018, and Haunting on Fraternity Row in 2018. Tanya Wavers did TV stuff in the 2010s, 2020s, and was in The Demonologist in 2019 and Ma in 2019. That's a good film, actually. I like that. Ashley Hamilton did TV and shorts in 2000, 2010s, was in Voodoo Lagoon in 2006, and Iron Man 3 in 2013, which is a bit, Johannes Miles, TV and shorts in 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, was in Devil's Due in 2014, The Devil's Dolls in 2016, Demons 2017, Angels Vengeance in 2018, and Demigod in 2021. Abby Gale did some TV stuff in the 2010s. We've got Proof of the Devil 2013. Losing track of what I'm doing there. Haunting on Fraternity Road 2018, Eat Brains Love 2019, and Black as Night in 2021. Chiaro Rizzo was in nothing other than this film. Ashton de Groot, who also goes by the name of Ashton McLearin, did some TV and shorts in 2010s, as was in Office Uprising in 2018. We're nearly there. Kyla Porsche was in TVs and shorts in 2010s, 2020s. Was in Assimilate in 2019, Lucid in 2022, Renfield in 2023, which isn't out yet, but that looks fantastic because it's got Nicolas Cage as Renfield in it. It could be interesting.
Yeah.
And we have Thomas Francis Murphy, who did TV and shorts in 2010s, was in Red Clover in 2012, Ghost Shark in 2013, 13 Sins in 2014, Starve in 2014, Demonic in 2015, Terminator Genesis in 2015, Selfless in 2015, Sisters of the Plague in 2015, Abattoir 2016, Jeepers Creepers 3 in 2017, The Domestics 2018, Demonologist in 2019, Darlin in 2019, Reminiscence in 2021, The Visitor 2022, Mr. Harrigan's Phone in 2022, and is also in Quail Hollow, which is still in production. And there we are. That's the cast. The synopsis says, when a young woman disappears during Mardi Gras, her friends race to find her before she falls victim to a sadistic Southern family plagued by a centuries-old voodoo curse. As you do. So, why are you shaking your head? I'm sure you've got something to say about this then.
Not something that we can put on YouTube.
What? Did you not like it?
Personally,
Yeah.
the best part of it was the soundtrack.
Okay.
I thought this might have been quite a good film because obviously Bill being in it and Lynn being in it. I thought it might have a sort of might be a redeeming factor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, okay. Fair enough.
I liked Lynn's part in it. Bill, it's not his best work, I will say. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. I've got to say the opening scenes and the title bits, right? Apart from the song, the opening scene and the title bits, they reminded me of an episode of CSI. But then at the end of it, it seemed to move more into something that was being done by the guys who did the title sequence for American Horror Story.
Yeah. What confused
weird.
me with it is that at the beginning is that it doesn't actually give you a time
No, but then it
that
says
is
1 year
set,
earlier.
and then says 1 year earlier.
Yeah,
It's like earlier from what?
yeah, nothing's happened, and then it says
No.
1 year earlier.
If they'd done that and then said a year later or present day,
Yeah,
that would have been better, and it would have. I don't know. There were certain parts of it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have found funny, but I did. Like,
well, I could make my mind up if you were supposed to find bits funny or not.
no, it was very odd. Like some of the shots they used, some of the sort of the random still shots as well that were in
Yeah,
it. It's like I didn't quite understand. I don't know. I genuinely, I genuinely thought this would be quite a good film,
yeah. No, I must.
and I hate to say it, I don't like to put films down, but I'm genuinely disappointed with it.
Yeah, Bill Moseley as the cop is more than just a bit odd.
Yeah,
He's decidedly strange all the way through it.
yeah,
And
especially
it's almost like he's come out of a different film because he
yeah.
doesn't seem to fit in with what's going on.
No, it's that I was watching him and he actually seemed more like he would have been sort of as the character being in like House of a Thousand Corpses or Free from Hell, sort of that sort of style of it, way
Yeah,
he was acting. But it just didn't make any sense.
and
I think the only part of it I liked of him was sort of later on when they're in him and one of the girls are in the car and he's doing some of the chat up lines.
you got to chat her
It
up.
was
Yeah, that was
hilarious.
brilliant. But the whole family dinner thing at the beginning is weird. It's just weird. The problem I have is when I see family groups like they are around the table there, or like they are in the whole thing, my mind goes in one of two directions. it either goes Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah.
which really this film is nothing like, or Hard Rock Zombies, and they are much more towards Hard Rock Zombies than they are Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And the thing you got me is that the girl that goes into a dinner with them doesn't seem to be bothered by what's going on at all.
No.
In fact, to be honest, none of them seem to be bothered by what's going on at all. They seem to have no real reaction, even when they've been kidnapped and she's tied to a bed and she's hooked up to all of these pipes there.
Yeah.
He just, her reaction is very much sort of like, oh, what have you done this for? You know, it's not,
Yeah.
it just seems weird. And it's a weird film that just seems to get weirder as it goes on.
It just. It started. I was trying to give it a little bit of I don't know, a little bit of leeway, and then when Lynn's character comes talking to the girl that gets kidnapped,
Yeah.
and then she starts monologuing
Well,
and explaining the whole curse thing. I was like, what the? Why?
yeah, why? And the flashback things,
Yeah.
well, they showed the flashbacks while she was doing the monologue, didn't seem to fit at all with what was going on. The only reason I can see that whole section being in there, apart from to explain what the curse was,
Yeah.
really they could have done a hell of a lot easier and better. But the whole thing, that whole section is just there for padding. I think if you took that out, it would be just under an hour. But it's just, I don't see the point of it.
No. And the thing is that whole way through it as well, that there's another bit where the bit at the end when the supposed dad of the baby
Yeah,
turns up, and he starts monologuing and starts ranting and stuff. And I was just like, if you're gonna do it, just hurry up.
yeah.
And then, and like, obviously, when he turns around and like gets shot, and I'm like, that wasn't obvious at all. Like, you stood there for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
randomly just talking absolute nonsense. Of course, he's given people time to get there.
I mean,
And
it was just, there was so much of it that didn't really, it felt almost like they had a few odds and ends of ideas that they kind of put together. I quite like the idea of the family curse and the family needing to do something to kind of,
yeah,
to do that. I quite like that idea and the sort of story behind that. But on the whole film just seemed a bit like it was made up of bits and pieces of things, none
yeah.
of which kind of worked together.
I looked at this as well. Was the fact I was sitting there thinking of the other title that he's got to, the Vampires of New Orleans. They're not vampires for a start.
No.
It's just a curse they've got to do what they've got to do. None of them actually drink the blood. It's just basically a blood transfusion they're doing these people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. And again, I'm saying the only redeeming factor for me was a couple of the pickup lines, which I thought were hilarious,
Yeah.
especially coming from like Bill Moseley. It just made it so much better. And the music, the soundtrack to it was
Yeah. It's the most odd film because it has nothing driving it along. It's just these set pieces of strangeness that are kind of connected, but even then it's only a very flimsy connection and lots of padding. And it just didn't
yeah.
seem, it was, I don't know, it's a weird
Just
film. Considering the people it's got in it and
yeah.
considering when it came in their careers.
This is the thing. It's like if this film had come sort of the beginning or even sort of near sort of the middle of their careers, I would sort of go, oh, okay. But this is like quite a long way into their careers with a lot of like for
Yeah,
the
I
two
mean,
main ones anyway.
yeah.
And it's just like, really?
I mean, you've got to look at the fact that, I mean, by this time, I mean, Lynch had already done the most of the Insidious films. In
Yeah.
fact, this was the year after the Insidious: The Last Key. this was the same year that Bill Moseley did 3 from Hell. And it just doesn't make sense because I don't know, it's weird. It does make me wonder about what some of the other films they've been in are like. Are the ones we've seen are the big name ones like Insidious and and 3 from Hell and Devil's Rejects, that sort of thing? Are they the good ones and the rest of them are not?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the problem. We need to go back. We need to go and watch all the other ones, and then sit there and go, oh, okay. So it's only a select few they're really good in. I don't know.
It's weird, and the interesting thing about it is that I wouldn't say it's a bad film.
No,
it's just not very good. And
yeah, so it's a very good idea, and it's like I said, I like the idea of the family curse and that sort of thing behind it, but it I don't know. They didn't pull it off for me.
The other thing is that I don't feel, there are certain films that you kind of like, you get to the end of them and you think, well, there's 2 hours, I'm never going to get back. But I didn't feel that with this. I kind of just thought, oh, okay, that weren't great.
Yeah.
I don't think it affected me enough to make me even dislike it or feel that I'd wasted my time watching it.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I sat at the end of like, oh, okay then.
Yeah,
I didn't sort of sit there and go, well, that was waste of time, or like, oh, great, it was like amazing. I just sat like, wait, so what's next?
Yeah, it's okay in a weird sort of like disconnected, don't quite understand what the point of it was way.
Yeah.
But it did, as I say, I couldn't help after, especially after Lynch in the wheelchair. I couldn't get the visions of Hard Rock Zombies out of my head because it just, but there you go. Okay, so there we are. Those are the 3 films. If you want to go, the links will be put up as always. If you want to go and have a look at them, and you want to make comment on what we've said or say that you think we're wrong in what we've said, then please feel free to do so. We would be interested to see what you think of the films that we have watched, and whether you think that we're talking through an orifice in our body not normally connected with verbal communication. Thank you, Scott, for taking the time to watch the 3 films and comment about them.
Okay, I'm glad I watched the first 2.
Well, I'm kind of glad I watched all 3 of them because at least I know what they're like now. It's an experience. Watching a film is an experience. It doesn't matter whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah,
it's always an experience. Some experiences you wish to repeat, other ones you may not. There you go. Right. Thank you very much, and all that kind of thing. Thank you to everybody and anybody who has listened and watched. We will be back next week with more of the same. 2 shorts and a long again. It's going to be interesting actually, because next week's long film is one of my favorites, and it depends whether or not I'm interested to see what you think of it.
One of your favorites. Okay.
Okay. So until next week, good people and bad people and indifferent people, and anybody out there who has ever breathed, take care of yourselves and each other, and make sure when it comes down to it in the end, goodbye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.